Lollipop. The Aaron's 312 on Fox is brought to you by Aaron's. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. Trouble for David Stremme. Ran out of gas, apparently. The car would not start, and his crew pushed it all the way down pit road. Got it barely running. The official there in the lower right had the lollipop sign up, the stop sign up, because cars were coming by on the racetrack. He had to wait until they cleared, and it stalled again. I mean, these fellows pushed it a long way.
And what he's spraying there into the cowl induction is ether, just trying to get it to crank.
Now, Kyle Busch's car got a big opening and some screen on the nose to help cool it. For today's Craftsman adjustment, let's go down to Jeff Hammond.
Mike, when you come in on a pit stop, what you'd like to be able to do is reach up, pull the tape off the front nose of your grill so you can cool it down. Now, in the case of the 5 car, they've had to come in and cut a hole in the very bottom of the grill so they can force air back in and through this radiator cavity to try to cool his car down. They prefer to take the tape off, but in their case, they felt like they needed to go to the bottom to force more air into the bottom of that radiator to cool that engine before they blow it up.
Kyle back on track, and he has stayed on the lead lap. Now, a number of teams, drivers have teammates, and Dick Berggren caught some team conversation.
And it's good stuff. Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking to his teammate Martin Truex. Earnhardt, under that caution flag, said, "What are you doing out there, Martin?" Martin paused for a moment and said, "Oh, just racing." Then they got talking about where they should be running, and they agreed that they should be running at the top of the racetrack. That's the fastest part of the racetrack. But before today's race, Earnhardt told me that the top has narrowed as a result of the safer barriers. They may have some trouble running up there. Earnhardt has told Truex, "We've had fun, but do what you got to do to win the race. If you can, go win it."
Robbie Gordon leads the restart. Martin Truex Jr., Dale Earnhardt, Mike Bliss. What do you say we give these folks 190 miles an hour worth of crank it up?
Sounds good to me.
Back to one outside, all clear, all clear. 60's on the very top, got to run.
Minding their manners.
It's a twister, it's a twister.
That's what we always have after a restart. These cars get bunched back up, and the crew chief tells them, "We're just a little ways from halfway of this race." People start to step it up just a little bit.
And you know what? Some of those guys that were going to run at the back, there's a couple of defectors already. It never fails. The 37 car, David Green, he's up to 16th. He's not going to fall a half lap behind this time.
Greg Biffle trying to push Robbie Gordon back to the front spot. There's a look at that pack. The defectors, as Darrell calls them, right up there in the lead pack. Robbie Gordon holds them off.
They're still together. They're just more closer to the eye of the storm.
Watch that 5 car, man. He got some air to that baby now, and she is coming to the front.
Look at Truex and Jr. on the bottom. Jr.
Whoa.
Sends Truex off into the corner underneath Greg Biffle, who was the leader.
Robbie Gordon's in the sucker hole.
And let's mention, none of these lead changes count. Only the ones at the start-finish line. Otherwise, you'd have 100 or more.
There'd be no way to count them all.
Feels good to lead. I don't care if it's only on the back straightaway. That's all I know. Oh, yeah. Business is getting ready to pick up, boys.
Robbie Gordon has Mike Wallace alongside, and youngest brother Kenny just in front in that yellow and orange 23. Now, Wallace is trying to return the early race favor to Greg Biffle and give him a little bump drafting help.
It's like a football game. After you had a couple of hits, it don't feel that bad now. So I'm going to get on up there and mix it up.
Can you hear me now?
That's a good run for Mike Wallace as we ride with his brother Kenny Wallace, though, here in the 23 car. But Mike and those guys qualified back in 27. They probably had one of the best Fords back at Speed Weeks during Daytona in the Busch Series. And they're showing it here again today. Have a new sponsor on board with them, Edie's Ice Cream. This is one of the best runs they've had.
Did you say ice cream?
Year. Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
The best Ford at the moment is that one, the number 60 of Greg Biffle. And they are 4 wide right behind him, going off into the corner.
Now that's why we put the out of bounds line in, was to keep people from going in that corner 4 wide and sometimes even trying it 5 wide. That's where we've had a big problem here at Daytona, or here at Talladega and Daytona in the past.
And this racetrack is plenty wide enough for 4, even 5 wide. But what happens, these cars start moving around. One guy makes one mistake. That's how we end up with a big car pileup.
Well, what usually happens is the left tires get down on the flat. And when it comes back up in the racetrack, you hit the guy beside you and cause a big wreck.
Don't look now. I'm not sure Michael is points racing anymore in that 99 car. He's up there battling for the lead. Is there 3 wide for the lead right now?
He heard what I said. You know, every time I say something like he tries to make me look bad.
Plus, I'm sure Jerry Baxter and those guys made that car a little better on that pit stop.
I'm thinking you're right. I think everybody made their car better.
A big gap there.
But it's the bottom lane that's been fastest for Martin Truex and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Of course, having everybody 3 wide behind you certainly helps.
I mean, we have 29 cars within 2 seconds of each other right here.
I just think whatever lane, it's just like it's been here for the last couple, 3 years. Whatever lane that 8 or 81 is in, that's the fast lane.
Robbie Gordon broke out to now run 3rd. Mike Wallace is 4th, right behind the leaders. And Johnny Sauter right with him, and Mike Bliss.
But Darryl, you're right. Kyle Busch in that 5 car, remember, he had to start at the back of this pack because of making that pit stop to fix the coolant, and he's already up there in the 13th position.
Yeah, I was watching, man. He was going left, right, down the middle. He's going wherever he wanted to.
Now, Dale Jr. up high in that 81. Why did he abandon his teammate up front? Now, can Truex get back to the high groove and pick up Dale Jr.?
I think he's going to leave. He's almost leaving the bottom open for Robbie Gordon right here. Don't know if that's a good idea or not. Don't think so. Bye, Martin.
But you know what? The groove that he's running right there, all the races he's won here in the Busch Series, even with the other aero package, he's always run a little bit up off the bottom.
Kyle Busch with that taped up nose works fine in the draft. Truex did go up top. He did come back to pick up Dale Jr. Maybe, Darryl, it's just to see if they got out of line, can they get back to the front, going to school for later in the race.
That'd be pretty smart for that rookie if he's thinking that way. Of course, Dale Jr. might be talking to him too, because Dale Sr. used to talk to him. I know that.
Dick Berggren?
Well, Junior really wanted to run up a bit higher, and he talked to his teammate Martin Truex and suggested that they both go up there. But Truex could not understand the transmission. He asked his crew chief, "What does he want me to do?" And by the time they got the communication sorted out, Junior was already upstairs. Truex was by himself, and that's what happened.
Yeah, you only have about a half a second to make that decision.
And see, that's the problem with trying to work with someone or work together. You end up jeopardizing both of you. Drive your own car, do your own thing. Maybe I'll run into you at the end of the day.
Did you mean to say run with you?
Oh, I mean run with you at the end of the day.
The Aaron's 312 on Fox is brought to you by Old Spice Red Zone. Spice things up. By Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Get lost in a Reese's. By Yamaha. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. And by Subway. Eat fresh. 57 laps to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. Live action with Robbie Gordon leading Mike Wallace. Kyle Busch. Jeff Hammond is all the way up to 3rd.
Yeah, they did some quick work on that number 5 car. He had heating problems early on, and they've definitely got it fixed, and he has come to the front in a hurry.
We've already had a dozen lead changes in the last 2 years in this race at a combined total of 14 lead changes. Let's check back in on the 5 with Matt Yoakum.
Kyle Busch, his spotter, Chris Osborne, is navigating that 5 car to the front on the bottom in 3rd. All he has said, gauges look great. The car, awesome. Chris?
All right, thanks, Matt. Ron Hornaday is currently right behind him, running 4th. Robbie Gordon, who's finished 7th or better in 3 of his last 4 races and has completed more than 99.6% of his laps run this season, still holding on to the lead.
Definitely hang on to the lead right there. But I'm really impressed right now with Mike Wallace. And guys, he picked up a new sponsor today with Edie's Ice Cream, and he's looking pretty sweet, making it to the front right now. But Mike's a really good restrictor plate racer. Several times he's had some really good runs at Daytona as well as here at Talladega, so he knows how to get it done here.
Mike Wallace, of course, brother Kenny Wallace, who led a little bit earlier in the race, and brothers of Rusty Wallace, who you'll see in action tomorrow, coming off his big win last week. How about the pole sitter, the rookie Boyer?
He is sticking right there with his teammate right now on the line. We watch Michael Walton go outside the pole sitter in the Dream Machine. Again, Michael is one of those veterans who knows how to get it done, but I'm still impressed with what Clint Boyer's doing. He's following instructions of Mike Dillon and Richard Childress. Stay on that bottom, stay with your teammates.
So you got the RCR DEI thing happening here, and Michael Waltrip currently running 6th and moving on up. He's the leader in points in the Busch Series. Let's go back upstairs, rejoin Mike, Larry, and Darrell.
Clint Boyer, you see there running in 5th, that orange number 21. On point, Robbie Gordon's 55, Darrell. Looks like the car to beat, but here it's so easy to get double teamed.
It really is. I mean, it's just a matter of am I going to be here at the end of the day. But the thing I would tell anybody if they were driving my car, that yellow line is your best friend. Use it. They can go around, they can get up on the outside all day long. I don't care. Stay on the yellow line.
Because if you're right there where Robbie Gordon, Mike Wallace is in the 4 car, they can't go under you.
They can't go under you. So you just ride the yellow line.
You know, Mike and Darrell, as we watch Kyle Busch right now, we're watching 3 wide with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 81 car on the outside. But we were talking about Kyle Busch in the 5 car as he continues to lose a little more tape. But I still think he's okay because that was just tape that was sealing that frame they put around there. They punched such a hole in the front of that car. He's back there in dirty air right now. I mean, he went from 30th to 3rd in 9 laps. Now the challenge would be the fact that if he's leading, can he still lead with that big of a hole in the nose?
Boy, that would change conventional wisdom, wouldn't it? There's a look at that nose. And let's show you what it looked like before that tape patch
Yeah, it's just
started to come out.
That's just, they put it around that screen wire they put up there. I don't think he's got a problem. Looks like they've attached that with some of those metal screws like we've seen some other teams do this year. Just a piece of tape. It'd be very distracting if you're back there behind him.
Wondering what that's is coming at me.
Robbie Gordon is trying to become the 4th different driver to win a Busch race at Talladega in a car he owns. Ernie Irvan did it in '92. Kenny Schrader in '94, Joe Nemechek in '98 and in 2000. Mike Bliss was 5th on the restart. He faded to 10th, and now he's climbing back up through to 8th place at the moment in his number 20, Steve.
And Mike, he also got as high as 3rd after that pit stop. He's a little concerned about water temperatures. His gauge read 250 degrees, so periodically he'll duck out of line, Mike, to help the front end of that car and then the power plant cool down.
Johnny Sauter alongside in the 27 as they fight for 8th place.
We've just got a hot day with good old Alabama humidity, and I just think that has thrown these guys a curve, because how many cars have we heard that's running hot?
Is that the Birmingham boy and you coming out?
Oh, I'm used to that humidity.
Yeah, and it's so annoying to have a car where you can't go where you want to because you got to keep an eye on the water temperature.
Well, Joe Nemechek almost got a little boot there from Dale Earnhardt Jr. as he slid up high.
There it is, with about as much humidity, not far behind it.
Robbie Gordon, after 65 laps, is our leader. We're just past halfway in the Aaron's 312 on Fox.